Hello everybody, it's me and Cersei here today, and it is my November Reptile Room video! So, it's the day after Halloween, and it's November 1st, so let's get right into it, and I'll show you guys all the new stuff. And Cersei. How you doing, Cersei? She's getting big though, guys. Growing quick. Let's put her back in, shall we? Okay, let's figure out how to put her back in one-handed. Whoop. Yeah, let's go. Let's see her. So her tank's doing pretty good. She kind of clobbered a bunch of my plants. Oh, you can keep going. It's safe. Don't come out. Okay. Go over there. She's definitely doubled in thickness, at least, since I first got her. But I didn't realize how much of a pig one of these snakes can be. She's always looking at me for food. Walk up here after work or something. It's so glary. And all she wants to do is eat. But this is her tank. It's a 20-gallon long. Turn off this light so it's less reflective. 20-gallon long tank. Only got some ambient lighting for it, so it stays pretty dull. It's kind of bioactive, but sorry for covering the screen. It's kind of bioactive, but we're having some issues with keeping it moist, so I might actually have to do a false bottom with this thing, or do something with the top. But I kind of don't want to put a big piece of plastic up there if I don't have to. But that's Cersei's tank. She's doing great. She's feeding on frozen and live and whatever else I got. I still got one more mouse left that's alive. After that, I don't need to feed her any more mice that are live, so woo! But let's just jump up this whole wall of tanks. Starting with, or not starting with, but the second tank is the 10-gallon planted, not really aquascaped tank, but I'm liking it so far. We got our peace lily popping out of the back, all the lily pads coming up, and then I ended up getting some of these Amazon frog bits to help pull out some of the, what do they call it, extra nutrients in the thing, and they're rapidly reproducing. Like, all these have new leaves already. That's a whole brand new one over there, so we'll see how that goes. But everybody else is doing fine, except he's got a little eye issue. See if you can turn around, or is it, yeah, he might lose that eye, which is kind of sad. I've been just kind of waiting, trying to do a couple different things, keeping up with water changes, making sure he's eating. I don't know if he damaged it or something, so if someone has a good idea, please leave a comment down. I wanted to avoid doing a saltwater bath if possible, but maybe some not ick guard, but maybe some I don't know what they call it, the stuff that helps with the stress and stress coat stuff. API stress coat, that's what it is. But we'll jump on to my other little experiment tank. This kind of just got a giant wad of, what do they call it? Duckweed in here from my mom's pond, and it came with a lot of hitchhikers. So I am just seeing what happens. I have it kind of sealed off so nothing gets out. But there's a couple dragonfly nymphs in there, a bunch of like, what do they call them? I don't know, little freshwater shrimp, but not like the cherry shrimp, which is my transition up to this tank. This is a 5.5 gallon kind of planted tank. This is all moss that I got out of a pond, and it's growing like crazy, along with some of those plants there, but I put a bunch of shrimp in here. And as you can see, there's tiny little snails in here as well that kind of hitchhiked in with the moss. So this is why people, you never just throw stuff willy-nilly into a tank. But this one I wanted to experiment with and just throw this in and get a bunch of, I believe those are ram's horn snails. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, because they kind of seem tiny, but the shrimp are doing great. It's not really affecting them at all. It's actually keeping the tank really clean. As you can see this, where is he? On the glass. Yeah, where'd he go? There's one right on the glass, but he's so tiny it's hard to see. Put my finger on him. There he is. This tiny, tiny little snail. Focus. Focus! Okay, on to the next tank is Zigi's. This overgrown mess, I'm gonna call this tank. It's still a good tank. I lost my last bromeliad in there. It never had a good enough airflow or a good layout, in my opinion. So I'm gonna redo this eventually. I'm just trying to keep some of the stuff alive when some of the stuff, you know, that's too alive back, because it's doing ridiculous. But this is a 20-gallon planted aquarium. Technically it's not an aquarium, it's a vivarium at this point, but you can see Ziggy there. The lighting's making him really orange, which is kind of cool. Let's just move the lighting over. There you guys go. See him in all his giant greatness. He's doing good. No more malady on his neck or anything, so that's good. It all cleared up, went away. And we'll work our way down. You can see my fruit fly cultures. Look at these high. Look at how many are in there. I can't feed them off quick enough. Then jump down to my polidarium that I made. How are you doing, Cersei? How are you doing? How's it going? You can see my polidarium here. I did put some shrimp in here just to see what happened, and I have not seen them since I put them in there, so obviously they haven't made it. But as you can see, it's just planted. I got a bunch of different stuff in there. It's pretty cool. Staying growing pretty good. My grass is doing really good. I attempted to take a small picture out of that group and see what would happen if I put them in here. Obviously, it's died off. Well, the roots on that thing are ridiculous. But beyond that, there's duckweed in here, so probably some hitchhikers, because I just threw it in here. But I wanted to get some life going on in this tank, since eventually this will be for an African bullfrog, at least temporarily. A pixie frog, as they call them. But right now, I'm just kind of enjoying it as like a little mini polidarium. I was hoping the shrimp would last a little longer. But we'll jump over to the other two planted tanks. First on the shrimp mountain. I have not had time to trim it in a while, but as you can see, all the babies have grown up, and we have new babies again. So it is just a perpetual engine of creating thousands and thousands and thousands of shrimp. But since I'm kneeling here and have nothing better to do, boop, boop, I'll feed them quick. They don't realize the food's in there really quickly, but they do eventually. Oh wait, there's food. Yum, 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 and I'll charge it. But we'll jump over to the next tank, which is Floki's tank. She's hanging out back there. How's it going, Flokes? How you doing? He's way bigger than the other one, but I guess he's much older at this point. I did put these African frog bits in here to help control my algae, which it's doing pretty good actually. Not great. I still need to probably do some more water changes on it to get some of the nutrients out, but the plants are doing pretty darn good, except for the nasty algae. And then I get fruit flies falling up from above, as you can see all of them there. But he doesn't mind getting some extra snacks now, don't you? You are looking for food. I try not to feed him a lot because he is just a pig. He'll just keep eating. But for the camera. For the camera. He just swims so silly. Blub, 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 blub. He kind of is like the color of the chicken. Oh, he sees it. He sees it. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that fish. He's hilarious. Otherwise, the snails are doing good. I've not seen the autos for a little while, so they're... Oop, I just saw one move. They're in there somewhere. But we'll jump up to Tadius' tank. I gotta say, it's very hard to get him nailed down in the video, because he's just so skittish. Let me back up, I'm way too close to this. But his tank's doing pretty good. Let's jump up top. Pull out the light so you guys can see. He's always in his coconut hide. I swapped out plants in there. That is a African violet. I'm trying out. And then the ferns are doing great. They're actually overtaking that upper area. So, right by the misting system, which is cool. Or the fogging system. Speaking of fogging systems, I ended up splurging. I still haven't set it up yet, but I got myself Mist King! I kind of got it because I'm really sick of trying to spray the other tank. And I'm going to set up the two Dark Frog tanks. The two Dark Frog tanks and Zigi's tank for the Mist King. And then I'll set up Cersei for the Fogger. She is just hanging out. But we'll jump back over the Dark Frog tanks and see if we can spot one of these guys. That Fern's doing good. But they are just so good at hiding. I can never seem to see them when I want to see them. See them in the morning, I see them at night, and I see them when I feed them, but I never... I'm going to put you guys around back and maybe you guys can see. They always seem to hide back in that area, but it's so hard for me to see. I can't never tell if they're okay or not. But I have seen them up along the edge occasionally. But they, as of yesterday, they were both doing good. Actually, technically this morning, they were both doing great. Fed them, and they all came out and ate some flies. Beyond that, the tank is a 12 by 12 by 18 Exoterra. I really like this size of tank. For thumbnails, at least. And he'd probably do pretty good on this. And even if you dedicated it all to the ground, you probably could fit a Pacman frog in there as well. But enough said about that tank. If you guys haven't noticed, I have some kind of cold going on here, so my voice is a little different. We'll jump up to Casey's tank. Cactus is getting a little dry, so I might have to water it a little bit. And it looks like he destroyed something again. But his tank is just a 10-gallon planted desert terrarium that I'm hoping is living pretty good. These plants are kind of, what do they call it? Running out of water, but they seem to be spreading roots down, and I usually try to water this once a week, a little less than that, but I also brought plants back into this room. Changing subject. I got a bunch of different stuff back in here. I got the what do they call it, pitcher plant for my fruit fly problems, because if anyone's had dart frogs, they realize that fruit flies get away really quick and easy. And they do fit through these holes, especially those holes. And they can fit through the gaps. They can fit through everything. They get out like crazy. So fruit flies just are escape artists. So I have pitcher plant is the natural way of getting around. But I also had to buy one of those little, whatchamacallits, like tomato-looking things that are supposed to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Running over to more plants up here. Bugs. And over to the Queen of Dragons herself. Khaleesi. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? She is getting older. She's got a little bit of shed kind of down there. She's not quite 8 months old, but so we'll find out if she's still a girl at 8 months, I guess. We're pretty sure she is. But her tank is a 40-gallon, I believe a Zoo-Mad tank with a sliding top. We've had another accident where we got a chip mark from something. And if I never showed you guys, the melty spot. But this is Khaleesi. She's a bearded dragon, and she is loving her tank. She also loves kale. Didn't need as much as I was expecting. Oh well. I'm going to turn that light back on so I can show you guys the rest of the stuff in here. My newest addition to this room is I have night crawlers. They're African night crawlers, so they can live in this warmer weather. For people that like to fish, not using like Canadian night crawlers, but they can't stand 60 degrees for very long. So I've tried to keep Canadian night crawlers. They feed well for Zigi, but I'm trying to culture up some African night crawlers and see how they do. And then we'll look at the roach container. I've developed a new roach food after going through some videos online, and I don't want to spook them, but let's look at all the roaches in that new roach food. So, seeing how they actually seem to really like it, I might actually post what the mix is. But I'll also link in this video, maybe if I got time, the person's recipe that I used. Seeing how it's actually working, I'll give him a shout out. It's non-cat food based, non-protein based. It is solely grain and calcium, because roaches can get their protein from other sources besides cat food. And cat food, do you really want to feed your bearded dragon cat food, you know? Same thing with your Pacman frog. So that's kind of my reasoning behind that. All of the cultures there, I just went through and did some maintenance on, and they are just booming in those new larger containers and in this dark corner. Which I try to keep this door closed to keep it dark in there. But with the temps being so cold outside, I kind of want to make sure it stays at room temperature. And when I turn the main overhead light off, it's pretty dark in here. But yeah, this is the reptile room video for November 2017, and thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to do a quick little pan by all the tanks one more time, and I'll just let it play it out. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and if you guys made it to the end of the video, please comment down below what pet I should get next. I'm thinking I really want to get a caiman lizard or a armadillo lizard. And what's going on, girl? Caiman lizard, armadillo, or not armadillo lizard. Caiman lizard or a pixie frog. And some more darts is kind of the way I'm going next. But let me know what you guys think. I may or may not just start up a saltwater fish tank. So I will see you guys next time. This is Bleakborn, and have a nice day. hungry? You hungry? Yeah? You just want to eat my camera, maybe.